play by Cesar.
Round one of practice at Sonoma is complete. Some drivers having more success at keeping their 4 Goodyears on the pavement than others. It was pretty eventful here in wine country. And now, practice round number 2. Clint Boyer was fastest earlier than Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Jamie McMurray, and Daniel Suarez. Clint Boyer, all smiles, our most recent winner and fastest in first practice. So now, welcome to final practice for Sunday's race in Sonoma. 91 degrees, even the sheep are running for shade. You ready for your close-up?
Yes, go ahead.
Here we go. All right. Welcome back to Sonoma. Final practice for the Cup cars. Because of a change in format this year, this is now an impound race, which means 2 rounds of practice today and then knockout qualifying tomorrow. Lock them up and go racing on Sunday. So that's going to make things very different because teams aren't going to be able to use special qualifying setups, run the speeds they did here in qualifying last year, because after qualifying, you can't change a thing. So what do you want to do now?
Well, and, you know, a lot of it falls on the shoulders of the engine guy, because you got to put the race tune-up in the thing, not the qualifying tune-up. Got to have the car in race trim. So I think everybody used that first practice to see how good their car was going to be on long runs. Now we're going to see how fast they'll go for one lap.
I think a lot of drivers use that practice to see where the 11 turns are and where the pavement ends.
Yeah. Well, some of them figured out that this track is paved. It took them a little while to figure that out.
They're supposed to be figuring out where do I brake at? How far into the corner can I get on the brakes? And we just saw how slick the track was even in that first practice. Now the track temp's gone up another 20, 30 degrees. And then they're probably going to try to end with a qualifying run to do that last qualifying run before they go and do it tomorrow. The conditions are going to be nothing like what they're going to be like. So I think they're going to maybe do some race runs and see if they can't find a little bit of that drive off that they were searching for in the first practice.
All right, well, let's go back to first practice and focus on one driver, rookie Bubba Wallace, who had a couple of off-course excursions. He had a lot of trouble with turn number 1, how to get through there and up the hill to turn 2. Regan Smith is with Bubba Wallace.
Hey, Bubba just saw that highlight right there. He said, I don't want to see that. I remember what just happened. Bubba, you had a chance to watch some Dartfish tape where you throw a ghost car over your race car. Did you learn what you need to learn for this next practice based on that?
I don't know. You tell me. You were dogging me while you were watching it with us. This is a tough place. Fun place, you know. I was having fun there at the beginning, but then the competition side started kind of kicking in my mind, and I started getting frustrated, and then obviously seeing the time slow down. So all the guys are like, it takes a while to get used to this place. So trying to beat that into my mind and not beat myself up too bad and just try to get better each and every time around on the racetrack. So see if we can get our WWT Chevrolet a little bit better for this practice and just keep having fun. Try not to get too frustrated.
He's got 4 top 10s and 8 Xfinity road courses, Mike. So he's gonna have some fun on Sunday. He's got a little learning to do before then, though.
Oh, he's gonna figure it out, Regan. When we come back, we'll talk to the happiest man in Northern California. Here's a hint. It's him. Getting ready for final practice here at Sonoma. He won Michigan, partied most of the evening, and then had a weekend with the family, and now he's ready to run Sonoma. Jamie's with Clint Boyer.
Well, it's certainly been a great couple of weeks for Clint Boyer. A little extra time to celebrate that big win. What have you been up to? What's been the best part of it all?
Well, I don't need that. I would just as soon have a shorter amount of time to celebrate one of those wins. But so much fun to get this group back in victory lane, have that fun with these guys. Means a lot to come back to Sonoma. Good track for us. I'm missing practice right now, but the car's fast. I'm really looking forward to Sunday's race. Unloaded off the truck fast, just like you have to do. What a fun place to get around. So challenging, up on the hills. The fast part back, on the backside. Just a lot on your mind when you go through and navigate these corners. But hey, at the end of the day, us, Jared, we got to come over here and win some money because our wives are all out on them wine tours, spending it all in that wine. So we got to hurry up and get in this thing, see what she's got.
Well, he's got to run off. Best average finish here of all drivers in the field, 10.7. I think he likes this place, Mike.
He sure does. Is there anybody that has more fun in racing than Clint Boyer? If there is, I haven't met him.
That's another competition, except for partying, that he seems to win.
True. All right, track will be open for practice when we come back.
Tonight, Big 3 basketball returns. Friday night, live. It's a new season with new superstars.
We're changing the game.
Big 3 tonight at 7:30 Eastern on FS1.
This is your wake-up call. If you have moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis, month after month, the clock is ticking on irreversible joint damage. Ongoing pain and stiffness are signs of joint erosion. Humira can help stop the clock. Prescribed for 15 years, Humira targets and blocks the source of inflammation that contributes to joint pain and irreversible damage.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Help stop the clock on further irreversible joint damage. Talk to your rheumatologist. Right here, right now. Humira.
Okay, that's a one-piece breast, $5. Pot pie costs you $5. That's a famous bowl, 5 bills. Tenders for a $5, and that's my 2-piece original recipe, also $5. That's 5 real meals, each for $5. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Fruit of the Loom's new Everlight underwear. So light, you won't even notice it.
So light, we wouldn't notice? We'd notice.
Yeah.
No matter how light.
That's right. We're professional noticers.
That's what we do.
New Everlight from Fruit of the Loom. So light, you won't even notice it.
Section 233, row 1.
Truex Jr. wins.
You get a seat, but we doubt you'll ever use it. Grab your seats at NASCAR.com/tickets today.
Coming up at 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern Time, live from Sonoma, special edition of NASCAR Race Hub, we will review the Fox half of this NASCAR Cup season. A lot of highlights and a lot of fun, so tune in for that. Let's go back to practice 1 and the best consecutive 5-lap average. Again led by Clint Boyer and his teammate, Kevin Harvick, and his teammate, Kurt Busch.
It's fun to see Michael McDowell there on 4th on that list.
A lot of road racing experience for McDowell.
Yeah, great.
And he put it to good use.
Great road racer, McDowell is.
Kyle Busch rolls off, and you see on the left side, 97 degrees. Now the readout is at shoulder level, but the temperature sensor is down at the floorboard, which, due to the hot exhaust running underneath, is going to be the hot spot.
Oh, you're going to see that temperature go up.
That'll go up to probably, if it's down by his feet, what do you think, maybe 120, 130 in that range?
At least.
Whoa. Get on it.
We've seen Kyle Busch, and you see right behind him, I believe that was Kevin Harvick, coming down through the S's also. I mean, these two have really dominated this season, and I think it's going to be fun to watch them battle and see who dominates this weekend, or can somebody else kind of break these guys up like maybe the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. But I think these two are going to be really tough this weekend also, like they have been all year long.
What I like about watch their cars, Jeff, and when their car gets a little air under it, it sets it right back down. I see a lot of guys get a little air under the front of the car, and it carries it a long way before it sets it down. These guys up, right back down.
Kyle Busch is checking pit road speed. So we're with Martin Truex. Turn 1. I think there are more different approaches to turn 1 than any other corner on this course, Jeff.
It's really wide. You can make a tight entry and keep it to the left and low, or you can swing out wide, try to carry a little bit more speed, and then make a late turn to get straight up the hill to get to turn 2. You're right, Mike. A lot of different options.
Depends on whether somebody's behind you or not. You play defense sometime, you're getting through that corner.
Or right in front of you.
Or, yeah, chasing somebody.
Up to turn 7.
This is fun right here. You come across that short chute, probably got 140 miles an hour, and now you slow down. Maybe 130.
But leaving
okay, maybe 120.
Leaving turn 7, a lot of wheel spin. You get first gear, all that torque from that engine and that power, real easy to spin the tires. I love this part. Fastest part of the racetrack, turn 9, about 140 miles per hour into a pretty abrupt right-hand corner.
And Mike, when you come through those S's and you're doing about 140, like you said, it feels like you're doing 180. It really feels funny getting down that.
All the way down to 38 miles per hour.
Into turn 9 down here.
That's a 100-mile-per-hour drop. That's more than Martinsville or more than almost anywhere we go, I'd say. Jimmy Johnson was 6th in the opening round of practice.
They had some power steering issues in practice 1, and I know that they made quite a few changes to try to improve that thing. They feel like they found the issue, and everything should be set for this second practice.
But you run such a quick steering box here, Mike. You run like an 8-to-1. It's really, really quick steering. We didn't have 8-to-1 boxes back several years ago. Now they do, and they really utilize them on these road courses.
And I think, Darrell, that tells you the performance, how it's improved with these cars. You never ran a real quick steering box because the car couldn't take it. Now the cars have enough grip and are stable enough to be able to handle that quicker steering wheel.
The best thing that could happen to Bubba Wallace right now is for him to get close enough to observe Jimmy Johnson's line.
We saw in that first practice, he definitely had some struggles.
But you saw him come over the top of turn 3, headed down to turn 4. Not where he needed to be. Didn't have the car all the way out next to the dirt where you need to be to go fast, so he's still looking. I think
lesson 1 here, or goal number 1 for Bubba Wallace, just get the line. First get the line and get a consistent turn. You know, here through that first left-hander, just clip that curb a little bit, other right-hander, get all your marks. After you get that and you can do it consistently, then you can start attacking those braking zones and getting back to the throttle.
Now, William Byron is one of a half-dozen drivers here that are also running the Saturday K&N West Series race. In fact, I think he was 4th quickest in practice a little while ago. In the K&N car.
Yeah, and out of the Cup drivers, I believe Daniel Suarez was the highest on that list. He was 2nd fastest.
And there's nothing that... Oh, goodness. What happened to Denny Hamlin here?
I think he might be doing a qualifying run, and he's probably just getting himself set and be able to get a clear slot with traffic, work with this spotter, and then he can come down the hill and go try to make a qualifying run. But there's so many cars on the track right now, it's so busy, I don't feel like this is really a clean,
you know, fun.
Tough to get a clean lap.
It's going to be fun, though. We know he's on a qualifying lap, so it'd be fun to see what kind of lap he can put up.
Well, and I think Truex Jr. was also, maybe even Harvick, we saw where they only made 1 lap, so it's a pretty good chance that those were qualifying runs also.
I think that's a little bit quicker than what we were in the first go-round. Yeah, a little bit. 76 was... so we're right in that same bracket, 76.
And this may be one of the biggest challenges for these drivers for tomorrow. They're going to be on this type of surface, a very hot, slick race surface, and tomorrow it's going to cool down, or when that qualifying session happens, it's going to be a lot cooler. They're going to have to really get aggressive tomorrow.
Larry Mack, we were talking in the garage earlier about how we don't expect to see last year's speeds in practice and qualifying because of this format.
Yeah, Mike, and you know, it's definitely going to be hot tomorrow, and that hurts the grip level, but because it is an impound procedure, that you touched on it at the top of the show, there's so many things that they can't do to the car that they would do for qualifying if they could work on it after. More than anything is they can't go with that low load of fuel and put that weight down in the frame rails. They can't put that big front sway bar in it. You can't take the camber out because that's things you would have to race with. That there alone, I think, is the reason we're not going to see the speeds like we saw a year ago.
Thanks, Larry.
Mike, again, watch this 14 car. It's been our fastest car. It has been so far. Watch how the front comes up, but it immediately pulls the shock package they got, pulls that front right back down. It really helps the aerodynamics. It makes the car drive better.
Clint Boyer, 6th on the board after being fastest in the first practice session.
No matter who rides point, there are over 10,000 Allstate agents riding sweep. And just like Tyrone Taylor, they know what it takes to help keep you protected. Are you in good hands?
I've always been about what's next. I'm still giving it my best, even though I live with a higher risk of stroke due to AFib, not caused by a heart valve problem. So if there's a better treatment than warfarin, I'm up for that. Eliquis. Eliquis is proven to reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, plus has significantly less major bleeding than warfarin. Eliquis is FDA approved and has both. So what's next? Seeing these guys.
Don't stop taking Eliquis unless your doctor tells you to, as stopping increases your risk of having a stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve or abnormal bleeding. While taking Eliquis, you may bruise more easily, and it may take longer than usual for any bleeding to stop. Seek immediate medical care for sudden signs of bleeding, like unusual bruising. Eliquis may increase your bleeding risk if you take certain medicines. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures.
Eliquis, the #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner. Ask your doctor if Eliquis is what's next for you.
Before we can wave the green flag, we raise the red, white, and blue. Before we can race, we soar. Before we can scream, we sing. Before we celebrate, we reflect. Before we can do what we do, we thank you for all that you do. NASCAR salutes our troops.
Man, Uncle Willie, shouldn't you be taking a nap? Every time I come in the kitchen, you boys in the kitchen, watching basketball. See, when he was growing up, and it had no big three. No Friday night basketball live. No 3-on-3 going at it half court. I used to play with a rock when I was playing basketball. You toss a rock to a person, that person ain't paying attention. Bam! That's why I walk like this. Big three. Yeah, 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 yeah.
To celebrate this American pastime.
The best of the best go head-to-head. On the biggest night of the summer, the stars of the league, they're all here for an unforgettable show. The MLB All-Star Game, July 17th on Fox.
All new Wednesday. 2 undefeated lightweights vie for a spot to take on Mike in the live finale. And while one fighter has already impressed,
Good job, kid.
the other remains shrouded in mystery.
He's tough, man. I think everybody's overlooking him.
Will the dark horse ride onward?
Voy listo para la guerra.
Or will Skeletor make quick work of another?
I'm young, I'm hungry, and I'll do whatever it takes to win.
Ready? Fight's on.
The Ultimate Fighter Undefeated. All noon, Wednesday at 10 on FS1.
We got a temporary halt to practice at Sonoma. Kyle Larson came by smoking pretty heavily, and they thought he might have dropped some fluid in the S's. And then William Byron had a lot of smoke coming from what looked like the left rear axle or wheel hub.
Yeah, you can see underneath the 42 car right there. See a lot of smoke.
Kyle, check your gauges. You're smoking heavy here. Smoking heavy. Yeah, it smells like oil. It looked like he had locked up the fronts a little bit getting into turn 4, but then after he made turn 4, it stayed smoking the whole way, even down through the S's all the way back. Maybe power steering fluid. 10-4.
And you'll see William Byron come into frame, and
is that brake? Maybe one of the pucks or something is leaking some fluids from the brake caliper.
No.
So let's check out the whole track and get things dry. Oof.
It's not good.
The FIFA World Cup continues on Fox. After an incredible upset against the Germans, Chicharito and El Tri look to emerge from the group of death with a win over Korea Republic. Then, Thomas Muller leads Germany into a crucial must-win match against Sweden. The FIFA World Cup continues on Fox.
Guys, no more excuses. It's time to hit your prime by boosting your total testosterone with Ageless Male Max. And you can try your first 30-day supply free when you text 797979 and enter the word FACT. Many testosterone products can only boost what's called free testosterone, but that's only about 3% of the testosterone in your body. With the ingredient in Ageless Male Max, you get a boost in total testosterone. It's a no-brainer. You'll also support greater increases in muscle size and reduced body fat percentage. Plus, get a quick 64% boost in nitric oxide, which can be handy in the gym and in the bedroom. Don't settle for anything less than a total T-Boost. Get your free supply by texting 797979 and entering FACT. If your results are too intense, please decrease use. Text 797979 and enter FACT.
Saturday on FS1, their lineup is a modern-day murderer's row. Demolishing baseballs.
Man, can he hit!
Demoralizing pitchers. Yankees, Rays. Saturday at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on FS1.
All week we work. We clock in, roll up our sleeves, and get the job done. And when Friday comes, we all get to raise
when they take the green, there will be 10 to go.
A little hell.
When we were dating, we used to get excited about things like concert tickets or a new snowboard. But that all changed when we bought a house.
Voila!
Matt started turning into his dad.
That's some good mulch. I'm awake. But it was pretty nifty when Jen showed me how easy it was to protect our home and auto with Progressive. Get this butterscotch out of here.
Progressive can't protect you from becoming your parents.
Took quite a bit of work, because this was a lot. This is all staple.
But we can protect your home and auto when you bundle with us.
Man, Uncle Willie, shouldn't you be taking a nap? Every time I come in the kitchen, you boys in the kitchen watching basketball.
See, when he was growing up, and it had no big three. No Friday night basketball live. No 3-on-3 going at it half court.
I used to play with a rock when I was playing basketball. You toss a rock to a person, that person ain't paying attention. Damn! That's why I walk like this.
Big three. Yeah, 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 yeah.
The celebration of American pastime.
The best of the best go head-to-head. On the biggest night of the summer, the stars of the league, they're all here for an unforgettable show. The MLB All-Star Game, July 17th on Fox.
Trouble for William Byron. That was not brake fluid. It had the smell of oil or rear end grease. Well, we call it grease. You can see how thin it is. It's not grease anymore.
It's really it's a distinctive smell, I can tell you that.
Yeah, nothing else smells like that. Try to get that out of your clothes after a day at the track in the garage working under a race car. Okay, they did not put any oil dry down on the track, so apparently not enough fluid down to cause an issue. Track is back open for practice. Denny Hamlin, under the red flag, was ordered back to the garage and was not allowed to sit up on the little cut across inside of turn 7 and wait for a clear track. But he's out there now trying to make his run.
And there's a lot less cars on track right now, so this might be a good opportunity for him to actually just go ahead and start that qualifying run.
Yeah, he'll take it real easy. He doesn't want to put any build up in the tires or anything, so he'll take it real easy. Take this, easy way around the track, not get on it yet until he gets down here, probably turn 9 or the S's.
And we've seen Denny Hamlin do this and do it quite well, where it's when do I start putting heat in the tires, and that's going to optimize the entire lap. You don't want to wait too long to get that heat in the tires, because then the first couple corners you're going to pay the price. But if you put too much heat in them too early, about halfway through your lap you start losing grip.
Yeah, you don't want to make your tires mad until it's time, and then you want to tick them off.
So I would say that time would start right now.
And also, the way this track flows down the hill to get heat in the tires, it's not equal amount of friction that you put lefts versus rights, but yet your first major corner is this sweeping fast left-hander as we go uphill to turn 2.
And Mike, what's deceiving about that corner, because it's uphill, it's hard. Sometimes you let off the gas too early because you're going uphill and the car automatically slows down. So really important to figure out how far up that hill you can go before you have to get out of the gas.
While Hamlin makes this lap, let's meet the fellow who has the fastest lap. Jamie.
Well, right out of the gate, Martin Truex Jr. made a mock qualifying run there. I talked to you after first practice. You said not a whole lot to change. The car's been pretty decent, but how much stock do you put in the changes you make today, knowing how much cooler it's going to be Sunday?
Well, I think a lot, honestly. I mean, it's not that hot out today. I mean, tomorrow is going to be the real outlier on temperature, but it'll definitely be cooler on Sunday. But usually the track's slower on Sunday anyway and loses grip, so it'll kind of be about a wash, I'd say. So so far, guys done a really good job in our car, unloaded fast, and it's got a good feel and good long run speed. So that's what you need here.
Martin got a chance to stop by his team, visit with them, and hang out with the boys in Denver yesterday.
As he was speaking, Kurt Busch laid down the fastest lap of this session.
See what Hamlin's up to second. That's a pretty nice job there. Yeah, but that Kurt Busch lap, a minute 16:16, that's not too bad for the time of day.
And I think Martin Truex Jr. has a really good point. These conditions, although it's very hot, hotter than it's going to be on Sunday, the conditions get much slicker. All the rubber laid down on the racetrack, oils, rubbers, all those things on race day with having 38 to 40 cars out on track makes for a much slicker racetrack, not to mention the tires get hot as you build up the air pressure and make an entire run. I think these conditions might not be as much as further off as we may think.
Yeah, I think it's fuel burn off, so you burn fuel off out of the back, which picks up nose weight, tire wear, and then you can't race the car the way you qualify. Tape-wise, on a road course, you're going to open the grill, the brake ducts. You're going to have the whole front of the car open, and that's going to slow it down a little bit.
And look at the temperature differential on the lower left of your screen from what we expect tomorrow and some relief on Sunday for race day.
This track has possibly more fall off than about any track that we go to. About 3 seconds you'll see from beginning to end of a run.
By the way, our onboard temperature on Kyle Busch's car?
Yeah, I don't think it's accurate.
Maybe it doesn't show the 1 in front of it.
That's his blood temperature.
That
He's
needs
got
work.
Ice in his veins.
Yep. Well, you wouldn't want it to get so hot that chocolate melts.
I don't know how hot it is on that thermometer, but I know it'll burn you. That's one thing I do know from experience. Your feet down in that little foot box, they get pretty hot.
Brian Newman, 16th in this session. Well, if that was 48 degrees Celsius, it would be almost 120 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
We'll check our numbers and the gauge during the commercial break. Having fun watching cars go around at Sonoma.
This is my color. Blue suede translucent salt.
Save big on great gear at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Like this Igloo 48-quart cooler for under $20. This Mr. Steak 5-burner propane grill for under $600. And bring the kids for free workshops and activities.
Introducing the new 100% fresh beef quarter pounder from McDonald's. For 100% sizzle, 100% juiciness, and 100% flavor. The new, hotter, juicier quarter pounder burgers. So good, they'll leave you 100% speechless.
I think I'm going to try buying tires online.
TireRack.com can help you with that.
I guess I could buy the same ones I have.
No need to guess.
Our tire decision guide gives you all the right options.
Someone should invent a tire decision guide or something.
Can he not hear us?
Right now, you can get this special offer when you buy a set of 4 select Goodyear tires. For details, go to TireRack.com/Goodyear offer. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
So you'll be here to help if I need you?
I got you.
What about here?
Yep.
Here?
Yes, Kyle.
And here's Sir Robert from State Farm.
If you invite me.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
The 29th champion is Brittany Force.
The stakes are high out there.
This rivalry now is not only on the racetrack, it's inside of each one of their heads. Talk about iconic names.
NHRA Summit Racing Equipment Nationals from Norwalk, Sunday on FS1.
God created bumpers.
There's a lot of bump drafting in the backstretch.
And bumpers were made for bumping. The Intimidator, Dale Sr. That's why we drive stock cars. So we can move people out of the way every now and then.
The Toyota SafeMart 350 from Sonoma, Sunday on FS1.
Turn 11 looks like Martinsville in reverse. You scrub off 100 miles an hour of speed getting into the corner, and by the time you're back to the start-finish line, you have regained that whole 100 miles per hour from corner exit and through that dog leg to start-finish in front of the main grandstand.
This track just works you to death, Mike. I mean, it's hot. It'll be hot here on Sunday. Shifting, turning, kicking those pedals. I mean, this place will kick your butt, I'm telling you.
And the race car, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's if you got a good car.
When you take all that power, those pretty narrow tires, this big, heavy car with not a lot of downforce, boy, does it challenge the abilities of what this race car and the race car driver can do.
60 laps, the final stage on Sunday.
See Eric Jones trying to get that real straight shot off as he accelerates in first gear off of turn 11. And you saw Eric Jones. He went fourth gear down the front straightaway, right up to third gear as he went up, started to head up the hill in turn 1 to turn 2, and then downshifted to second gear.
That's why. He didn't seem to carry that much speed into turn 1. He was downshifting before the apex, and then we saw he had a mirror full of Cole Witt, who was on a flyer.
When you're on a fast lap, Mike, you'll hit high gear right here to start for fourth gear, but you got to get right back to third pretty quick because you're going up that hill. You got to get second, come off turn 2 up there in second gear. Same way with the S's. You're going to come down through the S's when you're qualifying. You might get it in fourth gear for a little ways when you're qualifying because your lap times are so much faster. Once the lap times slow down, you hardly ever hit fourth gear.
So Jones staying in third for turn 10. All right, let's crank up the Wayback Machine. 2009. Oh, wing things. Oh, my gosh.
See how things have changed on the inside.
Let's watch the old pro here. I mean, it's not being called Gordonville. You know that. No. Yikes.
Oh, this is the
Did
thing.
you cause that?
You gotta avoid those incidents.
And here's 2015.
Look at you go.
Well, you can look at the brake pedal, the gas pedal, the interior of the car, how things really have evolved.
Well, I'm glad we saw this because I don't remember you giving Fox an in-car camera on 2 different occasions.
I was going to say, that's rare footage.
Only at the road courses.
Right, very rare.
5 poles, 5 wins, 14 top 5s in 23 starts. That is amazing.
He's at #1 in all the categories.
I did enjoy racing here, and I enjoyed racing against this guy, AJ Allmendinger. He's just so fun to watch. He's so aggressive, so confident on these types of racetracks.
Yeah, I like listening to him get around the track.
You heard him get into the rev limiter there. That tells you about what kind of second gear he's running.
But also tells the driver he's doing a good job because he got to that rev limiter.
This is where he excels, is getting into those braking zones nice and smooth, gets the downshifts done nice and quick and efficient. Boy, you hear him get back to the throttle pretty early.
Wow.
I feel like this is a qualifying run for AJ, as aggressive as he's been in the throttle.
He's using more throttle through the S's than anybody I've seen today, Regan.
Guys, you're absolutely correct. This is a qualifying run for AJ. He made a 5-lap run to start practice off, was very happy with the race car, so they decided to go ahead and put another set of stickers on and make their qualifying run right now.
Mike, you hear him get into the downshift. Didn't hear him scrape one bit.
Did you hear how smooth that was?
Yeah,
you didn't
just
hear
nice.
it go.
Nope.
You didn't even hear it go into gear, where some of the other drivers, we've heard it almost clunk a little bit.
Clunk, but that was his whop,
That's
whop,
textbook.
Whop. Yep.
He stays 9th with that lap. It is his quickest.
And immediately he pushes the radio button, starts communicating what he felt in the car and improvements maybe they can make.
A high speed through the S's of up in the 140s and a low of 34 miles an hour down in turn 11.
That's the difference, Mike, though, in a road racer, a truly good road racer. You don't hear the shifts. I mean, you hear the engine change sounds, but you don't hear the clunking of the gearbox. Most guys just go down and clunk, clunk, clunk. Good road racers don't do that.
Tell Kevin Harvick had a lot of grip coming off of turn 8. It's a little bit wide off of turn 10.
It's our defending champ here. See what he can do.
Well, it's amazing how slow you have to go to get through turn 11.
Harvick, 5th fastest. That was not his fastest lap.
No, quite a bit.
By a wide margin.
Yeah, but he has 11 laps. I think he's on a possible long run here.
Yeah, guys, that was his 9th lap of this run right here. He made that practice qualifying run. I'm sure they went in, pulled the tape off, adjusted the air pressure, and they're making a really long run with that 4-car here.
And Larry, I got to say, if that's a long run, I think he's pretty good, because he was getting back to the throttle aggressively off some of those corners. That tells me they've got some pretty good drive off of the corners.
Yeah, that car is always so good off the corner. Everywhere we sit a mile and a half or where we go, center off, that car is always accelerates better than anybody. And that really will pay off here.
Martin's had quite the week. Our defending series champion was at the Colorado Rockies game this week and brought the heat. Signed a bunch of hats and baseballs and autographs. Posed with the mascot and team members and floated one
out of here.
That was right over the plate.
He looped it in there.
Very nice.
Fruit of the Loom
Lume's new Everlight underwear. So light, you won't even notice it.
So light we wouldn't notice? We'd notice. Yeah. No matter how light. That's right. We're professional noticers. That's what we do.
New Everlight from Fruit of the Loom. So light, you won't even notice it.
Nothing gets a family's full attention like my freshly prepared chicken. The delicious KFC $20 fill-up with 8 pieces of extra crispy chicken and sides will surely get your kids off their phones. And they may even look at you, their loving parent. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
This is my color. Blue suede translucent sole.
Oh, man, could this day get any better?
Dr. Pepper Cherry off, a cherry treat.
Thank you, Tiny Wagon.
You're welcome. That's right, I talk. Deal with it. Dr. Pepper Cherry, cherry on.
I can do more to lower my A1C.
Because my body can still make its own insulin.
And I take Trulicity once a week to activate my body to release it, like it's supposed to. Trulicity is not insulin. It comes in a once-weekly, truly easy-to-use pen, and it works 24/7.
Trulicity is an injection to improve blood sugar in adults with type 2 diabetes when used with diet and exercise. Don't use it as the first medicine to treat diabetes or if you have type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Don't take Trulicity if you or your family have medullary thyroid cancer, you're allergic to Trulicity, or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Stop Trulicity and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of a serious allergic reaction, a lump or swelling in your neck, or severe stomach pain. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Taking Trulicity with a sulfonylurea or insulin increases your low blood sugar risk. Common side effects include nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, abdominal pain, and decreased appetite. These can lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems.
To help lower my A1C, I choose Trulicity to activate my within.
Ask your doctor about once-weekly Trulicity.
Check out star-spangled savings at Bass Pro Shops in Cabela's, like flag chairs for under $13. Save 33% or more on select Teva men's and ladies sandals. And bring the kids for free workshops and activities.
Morning.
World Cup action continues tomorrow on Fox. Belgium, Tunisia at 7 a.m. Eastern. Then a pair of games in the group of death as Korea takes on Mexico and Germany faces Sweden. That's tomorrow on Fox, or stream it live on the Fox Sports app.
Look at those times there, Mike, you know, and I'd said in our earlier practice, can't wait to watch that Belgian game because my wife's from Belgium. 7 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
It's 4 a.m. out west. I don't know about that.
Hey, well, wait a minute. You get up that early to watch Formula One.
Yeah, I'll call you. Don't worry.
Honey. Tell me how
that's what DVRs were invented for, right?
Jeff, DWD need to know God made 4 o'clock.
No, yeah. It's bad wrong. Bad wrong.
All right, let's get Regan to do a little debrief with A.J. Allmendinger on that mock qualifying run.
Well, guys, when I talked to AJ before practice, he said his race car was too tight. He needed to get the car to turn a little bit better. They worked hard on that in between practices and got it turning better. But when he went out to make that qualifying run just now, it was sliding around everywhere. He's having trouble keeping the rear end underneath him, and he had a lot of troubles with that. My question is, Larry Mack, is that a product of them trying to get a race setup in the car and having to figure out how to make that race setup work with this impound?
No, we talked about that a while ago, and I totally believe that this is a different animal for these teams, because normally you would take probably, you know, 3/4 of the fuel out of the trunk area, out of the fuel cell, and take that weight and put it down low. You put all 19 gallons of fuel in the back of this car, which now you're going to have to qualify with since it's an impound. That is a ton of weight slinging around the back of the car. So I think it's a huge challenge for the drivers and these guys trying to set these things up for qualifying with a race setup.
Well, now we've been watching Kevin Harvick, and he is definitely on a long run. What's up, Jamie?
He is, yes. He's on the 16th lap here, and I just talked to his car chief, Cheddar Smith, and said so. He must be happy with the car he's staying out. He said, we weren't supposed to stay out this long, but Kevin is the kind of guy, if he's happy with the way the car is running, the balance, he will stay out and keep logging laps. So overall happy with the car, maybe just a bit tight in some sections, but good for the 4.
Also, Kevin's a smart, wise veteran. Go do this long run. Maybe I can be done in this practice and go home.
Well, but not only that, if they want to change transmission or gear, as long as they do it before qualifying, they can do that. So wear this transmission out, put your race transmission in, it'll be all fresh, ready to go.
Now, Kyle Larson did change transmissions between practice sessions, and the smoke that we saw from his car, the team likely traced to the transmission replacement. They have now changed some hoses and some O-rings, and no more smoke.
Make sure you got all your fans on here.
You know, Mike, I really like what Larry was talking about with fuel and 19 gallons of fuel, what an impact that makes on the cars. I mean, that's 120 pounds if you take all 19 gallons there. That's a lot. That's a ton, and you put it up high and in the back, and no doubt that car is going to swing around this type of a course when you do that. And I think that's something that A.J. Allmendinger and all these teams are going to have to really get used to. But I'd also say AJ's going to have to be careful what he wishes for, because this is one of those tracks where you think, I've got to get the front tires to turn. I've got to get the front tires to turn. You get the front tires to turn, and what happens? You just spin the rear tires all day long.
Yeah. Well, now I'm wondering, Larry, do you have to fill that tank to qualify in an impound situation?
Well, you don't have to, Mike, but that means you're going to start the race low on fuel, because you can't top it off with fuel between qualifying and the race. That's something you absolutely would not want to do. And just think about this. You're going to have to weigh the minimum weight. So that means you're going to have that weight in the frame rails for the entire race, and then you're going to be filling up with fuel. You're going to be running heavy. So nobody's going to go down that road. I'm pretty safe in saying.
No way. But just remember, that's a huge balance swing. Is it's fuel in the back, and then you move that, then the fuel burns off.
Kyle Larson 17 on this, his second lap of this practice. Catching up to Denny Hamlin, who is second fastest.
And we feel pretty confident in what we've seen at a lot of these teams that went out and made these fast laps and did some qualifying runs. They wanted to start this practice in that direction, sort of the opposite of what we saw in the first practice, where they started race trim, maybe did a mock qualifying run at the end of that practice. Now this practice, mock qualifying run, switch over into race trim, and just finish this practice off with race trim.
I really like the way that 11 car looks, though, Mike. It swings around nicely. I don't know, it looks like you can swing it around a little bit, make the corner, still get down to get the throttle and accelerate up off the corner. Really nice.
And when I think of Denny Hamlin and Mike Wheeler and this 11 team, I think of how good they are at getting a car to have rear grip and great drive off. You think about that at Martinsville, but they do a great job of that here at Sonoma also, and that's why Denny's had some good results.
9 years in a row this race has had a different winner. There are 2 drivers right there that could make it 10.
Now you're, in my opinion, in a no passing zone. It's really hard to get around somebody here until you get maybe over to the short chute. You might be able to out accelerate them off 4 over to 7.
Yeah,
pretty much the tight end of the track where we are right now. It's just hard to make a move on somebody.
Right here, Larson will probably make that move.
Right here,
there it goes.
That's a passing opportunity, one of the few.
And you try to get yourself set up, get a good run off of turn 4, and then out brake into turn 7, just as we saw the 42 Larson do.
Well, the nice thing, too, for Hamlin, that's a place where you can get past, and it doesn't cost you a lot of time.
Shout out to the Eagles, Super Bowl champs. But I'm going to get mine next, because I got 3 weeks on it. Off season? What's that? There ain't no off season. Football don't stop. We've been out here the whole time.
You got to use it or lose it. For real, good luck stopping me next year.
And me. And me.
Thanks, I'll take that.
No break. Y'all boys ready to play some football?
If you want the rain to be coming down, watch me.
This is your wake-up call. If you have moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis, month after month, the clock is ticking on irreversible joint damage. Ongoing pain and stiffness are signs of joint erosion. Humira can help stop the clock. Prescribed for 15 years, Humira targets and blocks the source of inflammation that contributes to joint pain and irreversible damage.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Help stop the clock on further irreversible joint damage. Talk to your rheumatologist. Right here, right now. Humira.
Could this party get any better?
Dr. Pepper Cherry a cherry treat.
What? I'm a horse. I like carrots.
This party did get better.
Dr. Pepper Cherry! Cherry on!
No matter who rides point, there are over 10,000 Allstate agents riding sweet. Call one today. Are you in good hands?
Turn 1 and up the hill to turn 2. Blind rise. Headed for turn 3. Just one of the many challenges of racing at Sonoma.
Right there's a dip. The car really sinks right there. Then it gets light right there. And then you look for the track.
Like trying to find the horizon flying a small plane, right?
Hello, yeah.
Chase Elliott. He is 10th on the board. He's run 11 laps. His first was his quickest. And we think he's on a flyer. Mock qualifying run, that is.
I'm really anxious to watch Chase Elliott this weekend attack this road course. You know, as a rookie, I've seen so many drivers struggle, and it's just one of the toughest tracks to pick up. But about your second or third trip out here, especially when you're at a team like Hendrick Motorsports, you start to really pick up what it takes to run good at this racetrack. And I think that's what I'm starting to see out of Chase Elliott from practice 1 to practice 2.
Looks like he might have been impeded a bit by Denny Hamlin, who's on a much longer run with worn tires there. More worn. Now, William Byron had some issues. Regan?
Guys, we saw the smoke earlier coming out of William Byron's car. It turns out it was a left rear axle seal that they had an issue with. They changed axles in between practices and something didn't go back together quite right. There wasn't that much oil, but they went ahead and changed a ton of stuff on this race car, refilled it with oil and changed the rear end grease in it to get them ready to go back out there. The good news for them, though, is William Byron, he was on the simulator a lot this week. The General Motors simulator, he spent 3 sessions on it at 2 hours per session. So he's got some laps around this racetrack, and he has the K&N race tomorrow to get ready.
It's amazing how simulators have evolved and how that's become such a great tool at a road course, especially for a young guy like William Byron, just looking to gather any kind of experience at this racetrack, pick up certain, pick up different apexes and visual points that can help him adapt a little bit faster as he starts making those practice laps.
I heard Drew Blickenserver on the hub talking about Bubba Wallace was in the simulator. He said he got bored. he said he was in it a couple of hours and he got out, he was sweating all over, and he said, I got kind of bored at the end. So, I don't know if it helped or not.
Yeah, I'm just now thinking about this, but wasn't Drew the crew chief for Marcos Ambrose and all the success that they've had on the road courses? Boy, he could be a great tool for Bubba Wallace to help him get up to speed here. Now, this is something we've seen a lot out of Bubba is he is on the gas, sliding that 43 sideways around these corners.
See, a lot of golfers that I know, amateur golfers, they don't like to practice. They like to play they like to play for real. I think that's the way Bubba is. He's doing his simulation now.
Darrell, in your day, you could hustle a car around a race course like it looks like Bubba is trying to do. But Jeff, is that effective with today's cars?
There's a certain amount of aggressiveness and hustle that you need to have to put down one good lap for qualifying or the initial lap on a start or restart. But after that, you've got to find the consistency, and that method to me does not work here long term over a long run.
Mike, he's just not running the right line around the race. He's not using up the track. He's not using the curbs.
I think that was a qualifying run based on him shutting it down now and slowing down. I think that's why we're seeing him be really aggressive.
That was his fastest lap of this session, minute 18.1.
But when I watch him run around the track, what we've watched him, he seems cautious. You know, he just doesn't seem to want to get the car up on the curb and get it airborne. He's really being pretty cautious as he goes around the racetrack.
Well, there's areas to make up speed where you can throw caution to the wind. I think some of the braking zones, like into turn 11, be aggressive into turn 11. Into turn 7, be aggressive into turn 7. But then there's other areas, those technical areas on turn 2 and 3 and even 4 a little bit. Those are good areas to just back off a little earlier, get consistency through there, hit your marks, and then make up time in other areas.
You want to see aggressive? We'll show you aggressive. Hopping around at Sonoma.
Let's go to the hop, baby.
I am the DQ Jurassic Chomp Blizzard. Nothing rivals my massive peanut butter bites. Every chomp explodes with flavor. I am the biggest adventure you'll eat this summer, and you can only find me at DQ, so hurry in. Run! Before I go extinct for another 65 million years. Because I'm not fast food, I am fan food. See Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom in theaters June 22nd, rated PG-13.
Man, Uncle Willie, shouldn't you be taking a nap?
Every time I come in the kitchen, you boys in the kitchen watching basketball.
See, when he was growing up, and it had no big three. No Friday night basketball live. No 3-on-3 going at it half court.
I used to play with a rock when I was playing basketball. You toss a rock to a person, that person ain't paying attention. Damn! That's why I walk like this.
Big three. Yeah.
Being a kid is all about freedom. The freedom to play. Freedom of new experiences. And the freedom for all kids under 12 to get into any NASCAR Xfinity Series or NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race for free. It's good to be a kid.
Bring any kid under 12 to any NASCAR Xfinity Series or NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race and they get in free. Visit NASCAR.com/KidsTix to learn more.
Guys, no more excuses. It's time to hit your prime by boosting your total testosterone with Ageless Male Max. And you can try your first 30-day supply free when you text 797979 and enter the word FACT. Many testosterone products can only boost what's called free testosterone, but that's only about 3% of the testosterone in your body. With the ingredient in Ageless Male Max, you get a boost in total testosterone. It's a no-brainer. You'll also support greater increases in muscle size and reduce body fat percentage. Plus, get a quick 64% boost in nitric oxide, which can be handy in the gym and in the bedroom. Don't settle for anything less than a total T-Boost. Get your free supply by texting 797979 and entering FACT. If your results are too intense, please decrease use. Text 797979 and enter FACT.
.25.5 to go in final practice for Sonoma. Qualifying tomorrow. It's an impound race. There's rookie William Byron, who had some difficulties earlier. Larry can explain.
Yeah, you heard Regan Smith report that it was pretty much an axle seal. You know, you've got the rear end assembly as we go to our Ford Performance car. And of course, back there in the rear end assembly area, this right here, it's full of rear end grease. So what you have to do, you have to have something to keep that rear end grease from running out here and washing the bearings out in the hub. So right in this area right here, a lot of times they'll double them up, will be 2 axle seals that go in that axle tube and seal around that axle, and it just keeps the rear end grease from going out into the hub area.
Here's what it looked like after he blew that seal.
Yep, that's what happened.
And Larry, as you know, all it takes is them to put that axle in there, and it just can slice it the slightest bit to allow that oil to creep through that seal.
And what side would it come out on a road course?
Definitely going to come out the left side. A lot of right turns here.
Rear, that's right.
And you saw how when they drained that rear end, how fluid that so-called axle grease is. It's not like the old 90 weight that we used to.
They might as well put water in
right.
there as thin as
what we use, like molasses.
Regan?
Hey guys, one of my favorite parts about coming to Sonoma is the fact that the garage area is so close to the racetrack, and there's windows in this garage area. A number of the drivers and crew chiefs alike are sitting over here and watching the track through these windows. It gives you a great viewpoint of turn 11, so the crew chiefs can tell their drivers, hey, you got into that corner too deep, you didn't get off high enough, you didn't get off low enough, which can be good or bad if they can tell you all those things. The other thing I noticed when we walked over here and took a look at the racetrack, the tire barrier right now is actually out further than what it will be at the end of the race. It seems like as the race progresses on and those tire barriers get hit, it always moves in. The cars can actually take that corner a little bit tighter and round it off. So one of my favorite parts about this racetrack, being able to sit here and watch this so close to the action.
And Mike, these drivers, crew chiefs, they have so much more data, so many things to look at. Dartfish, lay their car over the shadow car, how a car brakes and gas. They can look at so many elements that we were just guessing. Well, we think he got on a little quicker. Well, he looked like he did this. Well, he looked like he. Now they know when they're looking at all that data what they're talking about. And the race is on. I always love coming up that hill, catching a gear, accelerate down, and this was a fun little area right here where the car really takes a dip right there. Then you just kind of, I'll never get used to coming over the top of that hill and not being able to figure out where in the heck the racetrack is so you get over the hill.
Yeah, there, and as well as this turn 4, it's almost as much of a feel. Just you want to clip that right front on that curb just to rotate the car just the right amount, but not upset the car too much.
Yeah, that's what we talk about, Mike, the rhythm. Once you kind of know where your car's going to go and where it's going to land, you just feel that same thing every time you go up there.
How about Matt DiBenedetto, 11th on the board?
Like this guy. Good guy.
And, you know, this to me is, I'm guessing for Matt, he probably feels this a real opportunity because as a driver, he feels like at this track, he can make more of a difference than any other place that they go. And I think he's right. And if he can shine here, he can show his abilities, his skill set, which we think is really high because I think he gets more out of his race cars than about anybody.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Jeff. I think he achieves every week in that car. He gets great finishes out of that car every week.
Well, here especially because we talked about Kyle Larson as being a home game for him. Matt grew up about 2 hours from this racetrack. He's one of 9 California drivers entered, so it's a home game for him as well.
Last time I remember that many California drivers, we were running at Riverside, and they all lived in California.
Enumclaw, Washington is a little further.
Yeah, it's on
than 2 hours.
Up the road a ways.
But this is a home race for Casey Kane. It's the closest Cup race to his home. Had an issue in opening practice.
No, he got a new crew chief this week. We documented that earlier. But that crew chief now, he's got to kind of find the limit. What is Casey like? What is Casey? How far can I take this car? How loose can I run this car? I think there's things that the crew chief and the driver, they got to work together here the next week or two to get on the same page.
Eric Almirola's in the top 10 in this session, 7th fastest. We keep showing these segment-ending highlights, or lowlights, or flat spots. Take your pick.
I've always been about what's next. I'm still giving it my best, even though I live with a higher risk of stroke due to AFib, not caused by a heart valve problem. So if there's a better treatment than warfarin, I'm up for that. Eliquis. Eliquis is proven to reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, plus has significantly less major bleeding than warfarin. Eliquis is FDA approved and has both. So what's next? Seeing these guys.
Don't stop taking Eliquis unless your doctor tells you to, as stopping increases your risk of having a stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve or abnormal bleeding. While taking Eliquis, you may bruise more easily, and it may take longer than usual for any bleeding to stop. Seek immediate medical care for sudden signs of bleeding, like unusual bruising. Eliquis may increase your bleeding risk if you take certain medicines. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures.
Eliquis, the #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner. Ask your doctor if Eliquis is what's next for you.
This is my color. Blue suede translucent salt.
You made a promise. You agreed to never give up, to be a decent neighbor, to remember the good people who rise with every challenge, to remember their strength when you feel tired, to serve with grit and grace. You made a promise. We did too. The all-new Ram 1500.
Well, it finally happened, Zachary. Somebody burned down my she shed.
The she shed was struck by lightning.
Is my she shed covered by State Farm?
Your she shed's covered, Cheryl.
That's wonderful news.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Ordinary stains say they can do the job, but Behr Premium Stain can weather any weather. Overall #1 rated, weathers it all. Find our most advanced formula exclusively at the Home Depot.
Introducing the new 100% fresh beef quarter pounder from McDonald's. For 100% sizzle, 100% juiciness, and 100% flavor. The new, hotter, juicier quarter pounder burgers. So good, they'll leave you 100% speechless.
Ford number 12 cleared for takeoff.
We have a winner.
Wow. Air, spark, splitter, everything.
I love watching how that right rear tire drooped out as he got airborne.
Earth, wind, and fire.
That's right.
He has run the most laps of anybody in this session, 22, working 23.
If there's a curb, he's been on it.
I was going to say, he hasn't missed one yet.
He's hit every one of them. That one.
When we say he's on a flyer, we're not talking fast lap.
That one. Yeah, he needs a little. Remember those things that you put on a card where you could feel the
feelers.
Yeah.
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 I don't know how long they would last on his car.
No.
One thing I've noticed about Sonoma is if, whoa, man, that's inside the curb. If you have a setup that's more for rear grip and for longer runs, then you can use a lot more of the curbs because you have a much softer setup that can rotate, move, and absorb those bumps a lot more. And I think that's sort of the direction that the 12 team has gone in.
Did you see him in turn 11? He had the left side tires on the paint. He wasn't using any of the corner at all. He was all on the paint to the inside.
If they say, were you on the curbs? He goes, hell yeah. I was all over them.
Nowhere but. It's fun to watch. Here's his teammate, Brad Keselowski, who has the 6th fastest lap of this session. Brad's run 17 laps. His first was his quickest.
I think this is a proper way to use the curves.
Well,
watch Brad.
And I think this is one of the things that I like watching road courses and watch drivers, how they attack the course. It tells me a lot about their personality, a lot about their driving style of how they attack a racetrack and you know how comfortable they are behind the wheel of a race car.
Now in the first practice, Paul Menard pounded one of those tire stacks down in turn 11 and almost got another one. Here's a look at it.
He just narrowed her up a little bit.
His front fender, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that in the race.
Look, even behind the wheel, back past the G and Goodyear, rumpled that up pretty good. Looked pretty bad.
Looks about right to me. Ready to race.
"15 minutes to go in final practice. Eric Jones. Have you seen his new t-shirts? They say that Jones boy. That's pretty fun.
I like that.
Yep.
That Jones boy is pretty good. 22nd quick.
I think Ken Squire called him that last year on the throwback telecast.
Whoa.
Now you heard his downshift. You compare that to AJ Allmendinger's, and it just tells you a difference of style as well as a difference of experience level on a road course.
Well, you're struggling through the S's. No speed.
Carries third gear. Going to stay in that third gear through this right-hander.
Now listen.
You can just tell he really doesn't match the RPMs on that downshift. He's blipping it, but it's just going in.
Yeah, he's jamming gears.
Now down to turn 11 comes Martin Truex. And there's Bubba.
We'll get a close-up in here in just a second.
And I think you're riding on board with the driver and team that is going to be a major threat to win this race on Sunday.
Like the way that car looks.
Kevin Harvick.
And here's another one. Boy, they showed him how to run this race from a pit strategy standpoint last year.
And Mike, I know a lot of guys said that Truex not as good as he was last year. A lot of rule changes since last year. It took them a little while to get their arms around it. They got their arms around it now.
He's still really good.
Really good.
The best of the best go head-to-head. On the biggest night of the summer, the stars of the league, they're all here for an unforgettable show. The MLB All-Star Game, July 17th on Fox.
Janice, Mom told me you bought a house. Okay. So now that you have a house, you can use Home Code Explorer. Quiet, I'm blasting my quads. Janice, look. I'm in a meeting. Janice, look. Look. I'm looking. It's easy. You just answer some simple questions online and you get coverage options to choose from. You're ruining my workout. Cycling is my passion.
We know when they grow up, this is what they'll remember. We know the great outdoors. We love the great outdoors. Make this summer last at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's during our free family summer camp. Plus, get great deals on great gear, like flag chairs for under $13, and save 33% or more on select Teva men's and ladies sandals. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here.
Why show an empty grill to introduce McDonald's new fresh beef quarter pounder? Because you haven't ordered one until now. The new hotter, juicier quarter pounder burgers from McDonald's. We cook it right when you order. So good, they'll leave you speechless.
I'm not a superhero, like my teammates. But we do have one thing in common. We choose to answer when humanity calls. And today, I choose to be...
He should not have gone first.
Assemble your squad. Team up in epic combat. Marvel Strike Force. Download now for free.
Do you want to make watching the FIFA World Cup even better? All you have to do is click. With the new Fox Sports app, now you can stream every game from anywhere you are. Impress your friends with the Adidas FIFA World Cup highlight machine. The new Fox Sports app. Download it today.
Welcome back to Sonoma. We knew that Bubba Wallace had been struggling to find his way around this 11-turn road course. Apparently what we knew, Martin Truex did not know.
You can see Martin Truex Jr. accelerates off of turn 7. And Bubba right here just looks like he really lifts or checks up a little bit, and I don't think Martin Truex expected that.
What the hell he's doing? Just gonna go, and then he just let off the gas for no reason.
Well, now Martin's car is pretty damaged on the front end.
Yeah, and he's pretty disgusted. You see a lot of damage to the front of that car. We saw the hood bow up when he hit Bubba in the rear.
And if there's damage on the outside like that, you know all the ductwork behind that feeds that air to the radiators.
I mean, the whole bumper is rolled back. The Camry, the whole thing is rolled back.
Didn't look like any damage, though, to the Wallace car.
Somebody's gone off course there. See some dirt as Clint Boyer comes through.
Boyer's car looks really good, Jeff. It's nice and solid. Here's Jimmy Johnson getting under Truex.
I like the way he set this pass up on Ryan Blaney. Coming through turn 10, Jimmy eased it a bit coming into 10, gassed it, and that gave him a great run to get by Blaney going into 11. That's just textbook road racing. Jimmy slides it around turn 1. Here's a look at it.
And I think Jimmy's on a little bit fresher tires than Ryan Blaney. Here's coming down the hill. That really, as you said, Darrell, this is not a passing zone. You can't pass here coming through 9 into this right-hander, but you can definitely set somebody up, Mike. As you mentioned, you see that Jimmy's able to turn underneath the 12 of Blaney, and once you get position on somebody, you basically have the pass made.
Yeah, 2 good spots to pass, going into 11, going into 7. Those are the 2 safest or best place to pass. Everywhere else, you got to force your way by.
The ultimate way to do it is just like that. Get position and actually force them wide where you get underneath them off of turn 10. Otherwise, you're going to have to outbrake them into turn 11.
Denny Hamlin finishing up a run. Jamie?
And he was in the garage for quite a bit of time. They're working on that car. He's second on the board now, but he said he's really tight in traffic and struggling to get it to turn. So he's back out on their last set of tires for this session. They'll run it out here. But I was talking to Denny before he got in the car just about racing here, and he said because they race here once a year, the one thing he focuses on is sustained braking. He said everything else is like muscle memory, but it's that sustained braking, knowing your car is going to stop when you need it to stop, and you can rely on those brakes is key.
Brad Keselowski just started a run. He is 6th on the board. He's run 19 laps.
You know, the way Brad approaches everything, you would think road racing would fall right into his wheelhouse. It'd be something he'd be really good at. He's really technical. He breaks things down. He and Paul Wolf, he's pretty good at doing those kinds of things. That pays off on this road course.
Oh, Tommy Dreese out in the dirt there in that 0-0.
And Mike, every driver wants a road course win on his resume. I don't care who you are.
Man, Uncle Willie, shouldn't you be taking a nap?
Every time I come in the kitchen, you boys in the kitchen watching basketball.
See, when he was growing up, and it had no big 3. No Friday night basketball live. No 3-on-3 going at it half court.
I used to play with a rock when I was playing basketball. You toss a rock to a person, that person ain't paying attention. Damn! That's why I walk like this.
Big 3. Yeah.
Only Invisalign clear aligners are made with Smart Track material to precisely move your teeth to your best smile. See how Invisalign treatment can shape your smile up to 50% faster today at Invisalign.com.
In life, you either feed on Jack Link's jerky, a protein snack made with 100% beef, and you run with Sasquatch, or you run from Sasquatch.
Hey, sleepyhead. The World Cup is here.
So wake up! Wake up! I've been up.
Because early kickoffs are blowing up your breakfast, your commute, your whole day job. Seriously?
Go.
Stream all day or just skip work. Because who wouldn't want to do brunch with this guy?
All week we work, and when Friday comes, we all get to raise a little hell.
Introducing the new 100% fresh beef quarter pounder from McDonald's. For 100% sizzle, 100% juiciness, and 100% flavor. The new, hotter, juicier quarter pounder burgers. So good, they'll leave you 100% speechless.
No matter who rides point, there are over 10,000 Allstate agents riding sweet. Call one today. Are you in good hands?
Wine country and a windy road course? Let's hope these boys don't get too loose. Corners here are tight. Drivers will have to go high and low to prove they're worthy to drink from the Champions Goblet. Don't miss the finale of Fox's season, Sonoma.
Wine country for most. It'll be wine country for a couple of drivers who have struggled today to stay on track and post some decent times.
Oh, Mike, some of us even whined when we were doing well.
I wasn't going there, Jeff. But
I got there before DW did.
Yeah, before he sent you there.
I'm so glad to hear you say that.
You've learned now. I'm a bit of a perfectionist.
I know. I'm with you.
Kevin Harvick has the fastest 10-lap average and the fastest 15-lap average in this session. A.J. Allmendinger has the best 5 consecutive laps. Through turn 10 and down to 11, Harvick about to catch a pack of cars. Whoa! Somebody just about stopped. That was the 96.
Well, the 34 and the 96 got into some kind of incident coming back down the hill. And
it all happened right here around turn 10. They got mad at each other behind each other.
Yeah,
here.
McDowell and Kligerman just were not happy with one another. This is after something happened already.
Yeah, McDowell was not happy with Kligerman, and he took a little shot at him, and then Kligerman says,
Usually what that is somebody like McDowell was on a qualifying run and felt like they got in his way and caused him to not really get a clean lap.
But look at this crowd coming at a high rate of speed.
Not good.
No. Glad that's over, and there's only 2 minutes left in this session.
Well, it's Parker Kligerman. I don't know. I think I'm correct when I say he's never raced here. Now, it's no excuse for being where he was, but, you know, a limited amount of road race experience, in particular on this track, you need to realize other cars are coming at a high rate of speed.
Chris Buescher, 29th in this session.
He might change that on that. I think this might be a qualifying run. We saw where Chris Buescher was waiting at the top of the hill to make this lap, so it tells me he's probably on a qualifying run. Larry?
Guys, I really like what Kurt Busch and his 41 team are doing. They have run 20 consecutive laps. This is coming to lap 21. Think about it. Stage 1 and stage 2, 25 laps, a fuel run 38 to 42 laps. So they are really gathering information of what this car is going to do over a long run, close to the full length of stage 1 and stage 2.
And what I like about that, Larry, is that they're able to put a new transmission in the car before qualifying. Or they can change the rear gear. You can freshen that thing up and get it ready for qualifying and the race.
Saw a little more smoke from Kyle Larson's car. Not sure if that was dust from the edge of the track or a recurrence of that transmission issue. Chris Buescher, who was sat up at turn 7 for quite a while, waiting for a clean run, got one. He is 6th fastest.
Well, I think that's, you think about A.J. Allmendinger, his teammate, great road racer. He's got to be able to pass some information on to Buescher that's got to be helpful to him here at this track.
Remember, guys, he's a winner in the Xfinity Series on a road course a few years ago.
Yep. Martin Truex, 3rd quickest here, finishing up. Flags will be out here in a second.
And going back, talking about Kurt Busch, and all 3 of the Stewart-Haas cars are on the top 3 in our consecutive 10. So those guys are looking really, really good.
All right, Jamie's with the driver who got the most frequent flyer points in this session.
Frequent flyer points, yes. I told him he made the highlight reel. It was certainly fun to watch you. You happy with it overall for the race Sunday?
Yeah, I thought we made some pretty decent gains there. We just did all race runs that last practice, so actually 2 long runs, which I thought is what we needed. You know, your car can do one thing in 5 laps, and then 10 laps later it's doing completely something different. So we really wanted to run some more laps in this practice than we did. So obviously some things we got to work on, but overall fairly happy with our PPG Ford Fusion. I think it's pretty neat. I get happier every time I come here. I think it's I get a little bit more excited to come here each year. You get a little bit more used to it, and this place is difficult. And I used to really not like it the first time I came, and then last year was a little bit better, and this year I really like it. So nice to be out here in the mountains, but I think our car's okay. We'll just see what we got tomorrow and Sunday.
Watch the 12 of Blaney. He's going to be a dark horse, I think, Mike. He finished top 10 in both road course races last year.
Oh, good point. Now, Joey Logano has only the 30th fastest lap of this session. Doesn't figure into any of our top 10 lists. Not sure if they're searching for speed or running race pace. Now, on the other side of the break, a special edition of NASCAR Race Hub, where we're going to look at the highlights of the NASCAR on Fox season so far. You'll want to stick around for that. Kurt Busch wins final practice. Race Hub next, qualifying tomorrow here at Sonoma. We'll talk to you in a minute with a special edition of NASCAR Race Hub.
Oh, man, could this day get any better?
Dr. Pepper Cherry a cherry treat.
Thank you, Tiny Wagon.
You're welcome. That's right, I talk. Deal with it.